Hello and welcome. Crispiest catch up.
Crispiest super chat this side of Stalingrad.
Gonna be talking about Atomic Heart a little bit because we're catching up on these chats that we missed. That but a wonderful stream talking about that very unique game. Got it right?
I probably would.
Yeah. So let's just get going. This is the crispiest critter of all time.
They don't make him this crispy anymore.
Klein. Wait, you should watch the new Ahoy video about the Barrett 50 cal. I have. It's good.
Okay.
What's with SK's attitude towards you? My good man, I am at this point such a veteran of the internet that I can't even keep track of all the horrible, monstrous things I've done that people hate me for. Funny, I saw a quote.
Me neither.
I think it was a super chat that was like in a different stream that we haven't gotten to yet. Maybe we will, but it said something like, I tried to recommend EFAP to a couple of different sort of reviewy friends and stuff, and they were all just like, "What the fuck? Why would you ever watch that?" Like there's a horrible show, and that the person recommending was just confused because everything they were saying was just like, "Wait, they don't do that, or that, or that." And I was just like, "Yeah, we're kind of at that position on the internet at this point." Rare that the people who absolutely despise us can ever like summarize the show with any kind of accuracy, but that's not really our problem. I mean, we're just going to carry on because I like talking about stuff.
Yeah. Some people don't care about the truth. They just go by the first thing they hear on Twitter and they just run with it, and that's that.
And I will say that's no surprise. That's like how things have been going now for a couple years. Even maybe if I should say even coming up to like 10 years. That's just been any way you can to dismiss someone whose ideas fucking annoy you. You do it. A lot of people do.
Yeah, but, then you don't have to engage with it, or you just make the idea of engaging with them in and of itself bad.
I mean, the big one for a long time was how we bullied the hell out of Jenny Nicholson, allegedly. It was just like, yeah, that didn't happen.
We just
but
hated on her for 12 hours. We just hated women.
Well, isn't that's like a recurring theme, right? Every few months, oh, yeah, that happened, and then just the screenshot of that episode with the timestamp. That just happens every few months.
And the summaries are always, they go on like crazy rants about how women need to stop reviewing, and it's like, no.
How many times does
no, we never said like it's amazing.
EFAP ever covered like a female content creator?
It is a grand total of
it's like 3 times,
2 to 3%, probably 2% of all total time. Yeah,
200 like
we average like 1 a year, maybe.
Remember when we covered that female and she came on and we're now on good terms with her? That was crazy. How did that happen? I don't know. When we don't want women reviewing stuff, it's crazy.
That's a funny perspective to imagine someone having. Women talking about movies? No, thank you.
No thanks. Get out of here.
They need to be at home in the kitchen building tables.
In the kitchen, not watching movies. If there's a TV in that kitchen, you're a disgrace.
Yeah, it's a distraction from you cooking.
Oh, building a table, of course. That's right. Anything but watching movies or television shows. Or even reading books.
Whoa, being able to read. I mean, calm down.
I think Saints Row games have better gameplay, but GTA has much better writing and characters.
So I would totally agree based on... so the problem is, I played Saints Row 3 and 4, and everything that I've ever heard is that Saints Row 2 was the really good one. That, like, Saints Row 3 was when it basically started going insane for the sake of being insane and bombastic.
I can support
and
that
like, Saints Row 2...
I love Saints Row 2, yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Really fun.
I always hear that Saints Row 2 is really great. If I were to make any observations about them in general, it would be based on... I obviously liked Grand Theft Auto a lot more than Saints Row.
I remember playing a Saints Row game.
At the end of the day, Saints Row owes a lot to Grand Theft Auto in general, but then again, I guess that applies to a lot of open world games. And from a writing standpoint, comparing like Saints Row 3 to any of the Grand Theft Auto games, yeah, I don't know. Grand Theft Auto has like really biting satire, like all of those games. And then there are certain games like Grand Theft Auto 4 that make like really meaningful attempts to like build character and develop those narratives. And I mean, I really like playing Grand Theft Auto games. I suppose the problem now is that when it comes to gameplay, we're a bit our point of reference for like Grand Theft Auto gameplay at this point is going to be a decade old. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a decade old this year. I don't know
Crazy,
what
isn't
Grand
it?
Theft Auto's. That is kind of nuts. Especially when you consider that in the years before that, Rockstar released a game like annually. Because Max Payne 3 was like 2012, LA Noire, kind of like not a Bondi, because that was Team Bondi and it was published by Rockstar, but still, I mean, that was 2011. And then Red Dead Redemption was 2010. Grand Theft Auto 4 was 2008. It's like their output. And of course, Grand Theft Auto like 3 to 4 was a year, 4 to San Andreas was 2 years, and they released like Liberty City and Vice City stories in the interim as well. But now it's slowed down tremendously. The point being, I don't know what the core design and like control scheme looks like in Grand Theft Auto 6, but like it's surely gonna get updated. Like
I hope so. It really needs
tapping
it.
X to run is absurd. Like at this
It's
point.
dumb. I hate it.
I would also say that having the automatic lock on is a bad idea. They should just do
We just
the
don't need that
Max Payne-
anymore.
Yeah, it's it feels like a product of like what they were doing on the PS2 Grand Theft Auto games, where like we weren't quite used to the notion of like twin stick shooting on a console yet, even with stuff
Yeah,
like
we weren't
Halo.
confident enough in it, yeah.
But now it should just be it's kind of crazy because Max Payne 3 with like free aim is a really great third person shooter.
Highly
Like-
recommend Max Payne 3 on
I would
PC.
too. Yeah, they nailed it. Like you got it. Just do that. Like just have free aim like they had as an option on that game. I know that they have free aim in the other ones, but like I would say don't even give people the option to lock on. Giving people the option to lock on, there's no reason not to use it. Make them aim, exactly.
Make 'em aim.
Even on the clown sticks, make them aim, and don't make me tap X to run. Like map it to L3, like please. So yeah, but yeah. To answer your question, I prefer Grand Theft Auto a lot more.
The stream finally falls on my birthday. Crispy critters.
Ooh,
Crispy Critters, indeed.
that is a crispy birthday.
Happy birthday for many weeks ago.
We probably
Yeah.
covered a lot of birthdays. Probably not all of them, but you know.
I don't think it would have been all of them at this point because it would need to be. I'm pretty sure that in order to cover all birthdays, it would actually need to be like well over 7 years because of leap years.
Well, we'll get there eventually, right, guys?
Well, we could
Yeah.
cover all days where a birth could have happened. We've done that, right?
Are you sure?
Like, well, assuming
been
like
doing
the days
catch-ups all the
between the
time?
weeks are like we haven't streamed on each individual day, but like we're talking weeks maybe. Like the
Oh,
week
well,
of-
sure. But if it was weeks, then of course we would have covered every one. But if we're talking about dates, like specific days,
Yeah.
then we're only up to like 4 so far.
Though if we
If
include
we're not including.
every release.
Oh,
all
well then
forms,
surely we've covered every day.
maybe it's still maybe probably like 20
Hmm.
left or something.
Yeah.
We gotta aim for the days where we
Gotta get
haven't
rid of
done one
'em.
yet, and that's when we start streaming.
Otherwise, people will start to realize, like, wow, you favor, or you don't favor a bunch of these days. What's going on? What's
I
the
don't know, man. Maybe we just don't like some people's faces. I don't know.
hot
I'm not
take?
saying we do or don't.
Hunter x Hunter is a great show if you like having chatty narrators explain everything to you.
I don't know what Hunter x Hunter is. It sounds like an anime.
Oh, I'm sure it's an anime.
You know what? I was thinking it was an anime too when they said that it was narrators like explaining things.
Also, that yes.
Because
Well,
I figured that
anime
sounded
is-
like that sounded very Death Note to me as a description.
If we just have these massive exposition dumps and characters constantly tell us exactly how they're feeling. Yeah, it sounds like an anime.
Chat, that is for you to fight out, okay? This Hunter x Hunter thing. We don't care that much. Sorry.
No, I think in terms of anime, it's the one that you recommend a lot, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's the one I need to watch.
Good shit. Yes, highly recommend that. Samurai
watch that.
Champloo, Cowboy Bebop.
I've heard that Samurai Champloo is cool, and yes, I need to get back to. At this point, it's been so long since I started Cowboy Bebop that I'm probably going to start over again. And I want to watch Ghost in the Shell as well, and Akira.
Yeah, we need to see
there are
Akira.
animes I need to watch, but like if I haven't heard of it before, I probably don't want to watch it, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I mainly just want to watch the big ones.
Rags, I have a very important question.
Yes.
What is the Kwong coin to Pooch point conversion rate, and can I spend either on this month's Quib gift? Hi, Rags.
I'm not sure. You'll have to email QuibGift and see if they accept Kwong points. Pooch points are definitely in the works, though. I think in the beta version, we're starting to figure out the conversion between those things. But QuibGift, yeah, they're definitely on it.
What do you think the general fiscal policy is going to be for pooch points? Like, what is your, how much, what's your plan there?
Um,
Or you haven't gotten there? That's fine.
I don't want to say quite yet,
Okay, yeah, fair call.
Just know big things are happening. Big things are happening.
In the land of pooch points.
Yes, our land.
All Mandalorians are butterfaces. That's law now. Butterface?
What?
Yeah, got a great body.
What does that mean though? What does butterface mean?
It's like when a face doesn't look very good, like when you have a lady who has a great body, but her face,
Oh.
that sort of thing.
What would that be applying to like Bo-Katan?
Well, all Mando, right?
But
Because
her
he's
face,
not
she's a very
ugly.
attractive lady. So
I was about to say that's why, because I mean the only like prominent Mandalorians is Din Djarin and Bo-Katan.
And even Tamura Morrison, who I guess I don't know if he counts as a Mandalorian. I don't really care, but like
he's a handsome guy.
I'd say so.
yeah, he's a good looking guy,
Is he in
especially
his
for
60s
his age.
He's
Yeah,
getting
he's looking good.
older. He's getting older, but I mean, like, look at him in Clone Wars. He's a handsome man.
So handsome they cloned him.
That's right. I don't know that was like the determining factor, but
I happen
Or it
to
was.
know what the determining factor was because I played Star Wars Bounty Hunt.
oh, I imagine it might have been in the Clone Wars as well. I'm not sure.
I don't know that they say anything beyond like a vague thing, but what I'm saying is like Count Dooku put up a challenge for all bounty hunters to get Kamari Vosa, ex pupil of his, has gone nuts. So anybody who could prove that they could take her out is going to be the template for the clones.
There was
cool.
an episode of the Clone Wars where Count Dooku had like a bunch of bounty hunters compete in like a box of death or something. It was like this big cube that had a bunch of these crazy like combat and like survival challenges that they had to deal with. That was in the plot line where they faked Obi-Wan's death and then used like technology to like change his face to look like a different guy.
Oh,
Sounds like we
It's
love that.
weird that they never talked about that in episode 3 of like, man, remember that time when I thought you were dead, Obi-Wan? That was fucking crazy.
it's one of those ambiguous adventures.
Yeah, no, that was crazy, Anakin. Tell Ahsoka that I said hi. Ahsoka, the Padawan that you definitely had when this film was made.
No, she didn't come up in the whole movie. Shame.
Mm.
I have no clue what happened.
I told you about the episode of the Clone Wars, right, where like Anakin actually found out everything that was going to happen in episode 3.
But like a vision or something, and then he forgot. They
went to a
Theo
crazy.
That detailedly explained it back in our.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because he probably remembered it better because it was they went to like a crazy planet with crazy magic, as I remember it. Where like
it's like the witches or whatever.
Oh no! That's just a whole other plot line. And they are baked into that universe now. They've appeared in like games and stuff. The Night Sisters, who like, if we're talking, like space magic and wizards and stuff, it's like this is just hyper magic. It's even like a green, like gaseous sort of thing that like represents it.
Why wouldn't he have just made it to where because the Force, the Jedi aren't the only people in the galaxy who know about the Force. So why not just have some people who are Force sensitive, but they're not part of the Jedi Order? They do their own creepy little witch thing.
I think that was I'm not sure because the thing is you see like throughout the series sort of pushing the lore a little bit out, but in very cautious ways. Like wasn't it? It was Knights of the Old Republic that introduced the idea of like gray Jedi, right? Of like Jedi who were kind of like neither here nor there.
I don't know.
I
don't
think
know where
so.
the origin is for it.
I know that there's a character in that is like a grey Jedi, like a former Jedi who's kind of like neither good nor bad. He's just sort of around. And that feels like a much softer way of pushing boundaries of like the nature of Jedi compared to, like the Night Sisters, or I can't remember what it was on that planet, but it was insane. Yeah, and that's all canon now. Even though I find it interesting to imagine like having watched a good portion of the Clone Wars ever treating it like it actually happened. Like in the context of the prequels. Sorry if I pissed people off. Like, I haven't watched it in a while, alright? Maybe I'm totally wrong about all of this, okay? I'll give you that. Alright, moving on.
Yeah,
I've
Star Wars sucks. Let's move on.
I have no clue what happened, but ever since 2018, Disney Pictures hasn't released a single film I could rate higher than 3 out of 10, with only 2 exceptions. Disney has fallen the fuck apart.
Oh
A
yeah,
single?
Disney's
Well,
like.
I mean, but what about in the animation front?
Well,
Oh, do they count?
they did
Well,
Well,
say
Disney, right? They
they,
said Disney. I hear Encanto was
they
alright.
also said 2 exceptions.
Oh, maybe that was one of them.
mm,
What other films would because I'm just thinking about what like Disney animation, like Walt Disney Animation Studios would have made since 2018. Hmm. Actually,
and
now that I'm actually thinking about that list, Ralph Breaks the Internet, I think would have come out since then. Oh
I never
yeah.
saw that
Oh,
one.
you know what? Yeah, maybe not. Ralph Breaks the Internet, Frozen 2, Raya and the Last Dragon, Encanto, and Strange World. I haven't really heard anything awesome about any of those films except for Encanto. That's the one that I hear was good. And what would
I've heard,
Pixar?
yeah.
Toy Story 4. Uh,
Bleh.
but then it would have been Soul, which I hear hyper mixed things on that one. Ooh, huh. You know what? Now you're making me think. What would Disney have released since 2018 that would be great?
Black Widow?
uh,
Eternals?
because since 2018, the only Spider-Man film I was about to say the only Marvel film that rose to like a 5 was Spider-Man, and that's Sony, not Disney. So, shit. What Marvel movie? There wouldn't have been one. Nah, not a single one. Fuck. And that would have been the era of like Aladdin, Mulan, fucking Lion King. Oh my god. Has Disney released a good film in like 4 years? Like,
Well, and they're bleeding big time. They've lost so many pillars in terms of easy money that was coming in.
because Star Wars is not easy money anymore. That's not easy money.
No, and Marvel's
It's
not
kind of
easy
hard
money
money.
anymore, and the
Nope.
live-action remakes
After,
of animation things, they're not easy money anymore.
well, I guess we'll have to
Yep.
see, right? This year might be the year that sort of shows how profitable those remain to be.
Well,
And on the animation front, I don't think they've had, because Pixar, Toy Story 4 was tremendously successful, but every other Pixar film either went to Disney Plus, so it's hard to gauge how successful they were, or it was Lightyear, which was a massive bomb, and
No one
Strange
talks
World
about
was
it,
a
yeah.
massive bomb as well.
well,
I
see,
guess Frozen 2 would have been a big success. That's
an idea.
2019.
There are some family members I see every once in a while who I consider to be quite the gauge of
Normie?
normie land, yeah. So I was like, "Hey, see any superhero movie stuff lately?" And then they were like, "Which ones are even out?" And I was like, "Well, you got Ant-Man, see that?" And then they were like, and like they seemed genuinely confused I was even referencing it. Okay, because I am too. They're like, they made a second one. I was like, yeah. They're like, yeah, I'm not interested really. I think the second one was okay. The first one was okay, but I don't know. I was like, well, have you been watching? Then they were like, not superhero stuff. I was just like,
Because my family just watches just sort of random stuff on like Netflix and whatnot. They don't really care if something's new. So they like the last thing they watched, they said was, I think it's a Netflix show called Stiesel, which was about like some like a bunch of who are they're the Jews with they have the black hats and the super traditional ones. What are they called? Hasidic?
I don't know.
It's about I think it's about Hasidic Jews living in Jerusalem, and it was like a family sort of drama, talkie kind of show, and it's like just something I'd never heard before. And so my folks just watch just sort of whatever catches their fancy. They don't care about really things. Oh, this is a thing coming out. We need to watch it. That's just not really how they operate.
well, and as I was trying to get them to talk about just what they'd been paying attention to superheroes, because I was interested to see what the effects of it were. They were like, I think they interpreted it as I was happy to talk about superhero stuff, and that they would like would rather talk about something that they're more familiar with in terms of things recently. So I was just like, yeah, take it away. Where you want to go? They were like, those live action remakes Disney does, and I was like, oh, Yes, and they were like, they've gotten real bad. And I was like, yeah, they have. Which one do you think was
Mm,
good?
yeah.
And then they were like, well, uh,
Well, that
uh
Maleficent one was probably I think that
That
was
one came out
okay.
like, it's 9
And then
years
this
ago.
yeah.
it's just funny that they really struggled. And then I was like, did you like Cruella? They were like, no. I was like, do you like Lady and the Tramp? Do you remember that? We reacted to the
Yeah,
trailer
that's
for
right.
that. And then they were like, oh, that
Yeah.
was an abomination. I was like, oh, well, did.
We didn't watch that one. That's still on our list of original versus remake ones,
I
yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
so
well, one thing that I find interesting to think about is, the well is starting to run dry on a lot of the older things. Like they've already remade Beauty and the Beast. Little Mermaid is going to be coming out this year. Aladdin's done. Lion King's done. They've already done like Alice in Wonderland. They've already done Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty in a sense. They're doing Snow White. It's like they're starting to run out of their like classic ones. So now it's starting
Yeah.
to reach the point where if they want to start doing remakes, they need to start looking at their newer stuff. So I would easily imagine that like Tangled is on the cards. Frozen is a certainty, I would say, at some point. But it's like they need to keep replenishing their stock of beloved animated films to remake.
And they are not doing
Right
that.
now
They're
not.
expending
No.
far faster than they are creating.
Because really, their last like animated Disney, not including Pixar, like Disney animated one would be like Frozen, and Frozen is a decade old. I don't know what they would be remaking otherwise
All
that
the
they've made
people
in the last
who
10 years.
Yeah, all the little girls that love, Frozen, typically, general audience wise, I mean, yeah, it's hard to believe they're 10 years older.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a while. But the problem is that it's the problem that they're having when it comes to their franchises is ultimately what enabled Disney to, for the last decade, kind of coast by was like that they had a massive inventory of beloved stories.
Yeah.
That they had. They owned Star Wars before they ran that into the ground, and that was beloved. Like it was. That's why it was worth so much to buy it. That's why
Yeah, it's 4 billion bucks to buy.
it's why The Force Awakens made so much money. Of course, remaking all of these animated films that everybody loved. Marvel as like a brand was still kind of novel for a long time, and it was like this cool new thing, but they were also coasting by on like their older stories that had built up these characters in their universe. It's like they were so fixated on plundering things that were already a sure thing that like developing new and original things that they could eventually plunder has kind of fallen by the wayside to where like now I don't know what the runway looks like for Disney. Marvel is not a sure thing. Star Wars isn't a sure thing. Their own theatrical animated films from Pixar and Disney Animation Studios aren't a sure thing. Like they're in a bit of trouble, really.
Yep.
When you think about it, and I mean, we'll see this year, right? Like how many of Disney's films will be in the top 5 for highest grossing?
Yeah, they were running on fumes of the previous power. They haven't been making good shit.
Well, they've lost the fucking plot, haven't they? Disney was creating great original like stuff. Even though a lot of them were based on old fairy tales, like I would say that stuff like The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast are like sufficiently original to count as essentially original. But yeah, what does it look like right now? Oh yeah, you excited for like a retelling of Snow White that will probably miss a lot of what was great about the original? Not really.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I imagine it's the same for general audiences as well.
Oh.
Yeah. But fuck you guys, like like you've cannibalized like the film industry. You own half of the assets, and like, yeah, I don't know. Like, sucks for you guys, I guess. You gotta have
Well,
to
it's funny
figure out
too,
how to
right?
tell good
You
stories
talked all about the Best
again.
Picture nominations. They're all these crazy cool. A lot of them are original ideas and
Yep.
stuff. And then it's like Wakanda Forever for fucking best costume, best supporting actress. You're like, get out of here.
Yeah,
What are you
we're
doing
talking about
there?
real
Then there's a
movies
little
here.
bit of like, yeah, it's
I
kind
mean,
of.
even you talk about The Last Wish, like, is that original IP? Like, no, but they did something like crazy original with it.
Yeah.
Like that was
It is a
they
unique
totally,
story, and it was
yeah,
gutsy in a lot of ways. And it's the same with Pinocchio.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting place that we're in, where like, because I'm pretty sure there's a trailer for a new DreamWorks movie, and it seems like a lot of people are talking about it. It's kind of gotten to the point where like, and it's the same. Like, there's a lot of hype for Across the Spider-Verse. And it's like, man, even in like a place where Disney has traditionally been dominant, which is animation, in particular theatrical animation, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like a lot of the interest at this point is in what everybody else is doing, because everybody else has kind of been forced to be more innovative.
Oh yeah.
But who knows? I guess we'll see,
They got
right?
comfy
Like,
and
whatever.
fucked them up.
Yeah, and well, to the point that it's reflected in the people that didn't used to be comfy. Like, I don't know, like that new Pixar movie Elemental. I don't know, like even from the premise, it doesn't sound very interesting. What the elements? They're like people, and then
Wow.
two elements from different like elements fall in love. I don't know, man. It's
Whoa.
pretty
I just don't give a shit. I
pretty
just don't give a
dull.
shit.
Compared to again, like, oh yeah, Lightyear. You want to see Lightyear? No, not at all. And apparently, I wasn't alone. Compared to, you know, Puss in Boots, The Last Witch, of like, do you want to see a subversive deconstruction of this character from the Shrek franchise in this cool new animation and art style? Yes, I do actually, and
Yeah.
so do a lot of people. To where Puss in Boots is now going to make more money than Ant-Man.
That's so great.
It's pretty great, yeah.
I bet a lot of people are gonna buy the, you know, the Blu-rays of it too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, fuck Disney. Right, moving on.
The worst part about BioShock is it's a poor, sometimes even misrepresentative critique of Ayn Rand and objectivism. Great game, bad commentary.
I don't even know why
Really
you
like
would say that.
Ayn Rand and objectivism out of curiosity.
Yeah, this one's complicated, right? Because if someone was to say, like, if you read her books, you'll understand that BioShock clearly doesn't know what it's talking about. They'd be like,
Oh,
listen,
hi. I've read Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead and We the Living and Anthem. So I've read at least 4 of her novels. I liked them. I liked them, but like fucking chill. You know? It's easy it's really easy to frame your own ideology really excellently if you're constructing it in a narrative that you literally are the god of as the writer.
and
So
I think that this person, before I would engage in like discovering exactly what detail they think is wrong, I'd be like, first of all, do you think there are flaws in objectivism and that they could be represented well? And if their answer was like, well, you know, it's if you have someone like sabotaging it, maybe or something, I'd just be like, oh, because as far as I'm concerned, there is no like system of that degree that can't fall apart due to its individual actors inside.
I don't know. It's just when I hear someone say that, it's like, oh, you're a big fan of it, aren't you? Maybe you're not, but I don't
I
know.
assume so, because like the thing about BioShock that's fascinating more so to me is just the individuals try and run all of this and they have ideas. This is why, I don't know, if someone said like you can't use this as criticism of communism or capitalism or objectivism or whatever you want because it's not true, blah blah blah, or it's not applicable to that particular system, I'd just be like, okay, then you don't have to treat it that way. Treat it as Andrew Ryan was a flawed man who tried to start a system that didn't work as well as he
Didn't
wanted.
work out.
Didn't
Yeah.
anticipate a bunch of things that were going to fall apart. You know, I get tired of the conversations about it because my take from things like that a lot of the time isn't even remotely like, wow, I really enjoyed reading about objectivism. BioShock really gave me a strong understanding of how flawed it can be. I was like, no, I was really invested in the world and the characters.
I guess the thing is, a lot of people probably don't view it in that way. They're viewing it in a more, I guess, meta sense.
I guess the thing about it is, like, if you have a world like hyper-capitalistic or something, and then it portrays negative things happening in it, which, by the way, does happen in a lot of modern media, and it pisses people off. Like, no, capitalism can solve that problem by doing blah, 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 or whatever. It's like, that's fine. It's fine. This one doesn't have that solution. When things are going bad for whatever reason that may involve someone making mistakes somewhere, they haven't implemented the
That's
system.
just almost like, chill out a little bit. Media can be critical of your favorite system.
Well, yeah, and it just doesn't. Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that nobody said in universe that Andrew Ryan is one-to-one copying everything he learned from Ayn Rand's books, and anything that deviates from it would be considered a flaw in the storytelling. It's like, is she even referenced in that game at all? Like,
I don't think so.
other
I can't
than like
remember.
Easter
There
eggs,
might
maybe.
be some really direct. There might be direct references, but I'm actually not sure.
And don't
I can't
misunderstand. I of course am saying it's obviously the inspiration is from her, but what I'm trying to get at is internal consistency of that world. It doesn't require that it matches anything from Ayn Rand necessarily.
Or I guess the person who said this would retort, "No, I'm saying it's a bad criticism of objectivism."
Yeah, at that point we'd need to figure out exactly what they're talking about and then compare.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't believe there's any system that can not have something like a Bioshock made about it and explore the weaknesses of the system.
No, mine's perfect.
And again, we're not saying that's what you're saying. That's just something that people
No,
say.
no, I'm not. That's yeah.
The humor reminded me of Rags' dad jokes.
The
Atomic
humor
So it was
Heart.
really
of
good?
art.
I think the humor in Atomic Heart.
Well, maybe they're
Yeah,
just
so they wouldn't be
mistaken.
anything
Then.
like my jokes. Yeah.
Springy, have you heard of the Melody of Pandora? It's a piece of diegetic music that plays in the underworld in God of War 3. Simple, but really nice sounding.
I am not. I haven't played God of War 3, so I'm not. I'm not aware of that one. Not familiar with it.
Be fun to see you do.
Well, I do have it on PS4, so maybe one day.
I was surprised at just how cringe the English VA was. Russian VA was very nice on the ears in comparison. And
Problem
something went
is
wrong.
that in a video game, it's kind subtitles in a video game I struggle with a bit more. I like having subtitles for English so that if I miss something I can just look down and see it. But if I'm playing a game and characters are talking during gameplay, it's like, damn, I need to
Yeah,
know what you're saying because it might be important.
Or if it happens during gameplay, if someone says something, it's like, I gotta play a game here, you know? It's like
Yeah,
I'm
like
busy playing a
I
game.
can't be reading subtitles while I'm playing compared to watching a film where it's way easier. But yeah, the VA in English was pretty cringe.
Rags, your computer's not crashing because it's broken or anything. It's trying to save you.
No, it
Maybe.
isn't. It's trying to make my life fucking miserable and make me nervous.
Well, I guess in this case, I say to save you from Atomic Heart, but I think, you probably...
I
There's
don't think
things
it's a
you would have
game to be
liked.
saved from.
You would have liked
Yeah, I
things
was like, I,
about
I would
Atomic
like
Heart.
to. Yeah, I will play Atomic Heart. It's a game that I was like, I literally started playing it, and then the computer issues started happening again. So it is a game that I want to play, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
The Puss in Boots page on Letterboxd has the cricket casted as ethical bug. Also, the voice actor for the cricket has no other
Ethical
roles,
bug.
and upon research is a production supervisor at DreamWorks. Oh,
That happens sometimes where you get, like directors and stuff to do voices.
really cool.
Yeah.
Mauler Dead Island 2 is almost out. You promised me you'll play OG Dead Islands in a Halloween run. Crispy Critters, Mauler, real men keep their promises. I don't remember. I tend to avoid doing that ever. Like promising to play anything. Promising to do anything. Because you never know if you really can or not. Hello, everybody. What's up with the Batwoman reactions? Are they still being made? Yes. Just a
Yes, indeed.
slow process. But you'll get... Right now, they've become the breaks between portions of anniversary streams. And they will keep being that until nearly all of them are done, and then we'll just get a regular release. But yeah, Daz is still making them, and they're still wonderful. Proof every time he's done, and then up ready to go, and till we get all of them. We still need to record a few more, and then we're done with.
That's right. We're actually nearing the completion of the Batwoman arc. Has almost reached its end. How exciting!
Get some other stuff going as well, and the Gotham Knights one is beginning. Or has
Oh,
already finished
great.
by the time this comes out. I don't know.
Oh, that show, boy.
Yay!
Oh man. Yeah. It is just not. It's no Batwoman. I'll say that.
Springy, what do you think of the Simpsons movie?
I really like it.
Yeah, I'm a fan
Like
of it.
it's the last sort of notably good thing from The Simpsons.
Funny. And
Yeah.
who would have thought that Sam would copy its plot?
Yeah.
The game would be really fun if the glove and the piece could shut up. I mean, main character.
Or if the problem isn't that they need to
Like,
shut up, it's that their dialogue needs to be better. Those
Yeah.
characters are just whacked in how they talk.
They-
I don't expect those characters to behave in the ways that I feel like they should in that world.
Yep.
The obvious comparison is like Kratos, Mimir, Atreus, and Freya talk a lot.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
and when they're not talking, I'm like, "Why aren't you talking? Say something. Tell me about your feelings, you bastard."
Only the crispiest of critters for Mootle. Through it too. And then he started playing Resident Evil 4 OG. What a comparison.
Oh, gee.
All
Had Metal not
along,
played Resident Evil 4 before now?
Metal has. I have. Springy hasn't. Answer your question?
That was a great answer.
Good day, long man. Any chance you guys can do an EFAP for the Northman? Awesome revenge story, and it'd be nice change of pace from Sludge. Also, high rags.
Hello. I have not seen The Northman, and I would like to. So that's a definite maybe. That's a
Have to-
definite maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to see it first. I still haven't. And
No, I haven't.
Soviet Russia, Fridge enters you. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Weird. The dialogue seems intentionally cringe and satire, something like a GTA game or Saints Row. I mean, dialogue is language, I tell you. Yes, sometimes it seems intentional.
Sometimes it feels intentional, but it doesn't vibe. The whole
No.
thing together just doesn't quite seem to,
Lord Longbong of Mublington Abbey. Any good chance for Kong Fap? Of Peter Jackson's Long Kong? Less going on?
Ooh.
Good movie Fap for the ages. Yes. Oh,
Ah.
Wagsies.
Hello.
Sounds like a good call. They even said, remember, there's dinosaurs in it. There are dinosaurs.
Ooh, yeah, there is. That's cool.
Big Kong fight, big Rex. Fun. Definitely on the cards. Who knows? Maybe when there's less going on. After
Maybe when
listening
there's less
to
going on.
54 again, will Aiden return in the foreseeable future? Maybe.
I don't know.
Cycle
Maybe.
guests a lot around all the depending on topics as you.
Yeah.
Also, my top 3 is similar to yours, but instead, got I don't know if that's best to worst or worst to best characters from Buffy. But yeah, they got the same 3 top characters, but they put it in a different order.
Okay.
Fair enough. I don't blame anybody for moving them around. They're brilliant. You're the same with that, right, Fringy? The top 3 that you move.
Well, wait, what are they? If you can tell me
I would
without
have thought
telling my
you'd
heads.
remember, right? They're the 3
I know
that
what
have
yours
the
are.
longest arcs.
Yeah. I know. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Mine are. It's the order that gets moved around, but they're real close.
You don't understand, Longman. The escort quests test your patience. Huh?
Yes, they probably do.
Atomic Heart feels like taking a WarioWare approach to RPG FPS, but playing all of the minigames at the same time for 20 hours straight.
Kind of a funny way of putting
That's
it.
an
Yeah.
interesting. WarioWare.
This game has a
I remember
severe...
WarioWare.
Yeah, me too.
This game has a severe identity crisis. The deeper you get into it, the more the devs add in terms of gameplay variety. All aspects are decent, but no single gameplay mechanic stands out as superb.
There's definitely something to be said about games that are greater than the sum of their parts, but it's really tough to sort of define how to put one of those together.
Well, and would you say this one is lesser than the sum of its parts?
I don't know. Without, I haven't played it yet, so I can't say. I feel like I could go either way based on how it feels for me to play.
I think that's what they were kind of getting at, was that all the aspects are pretty good, but there's nothing about it individually that makes it stand out. And in a sense, when you review each individual part, you might be like, that's not too bad, that's a lot of detail, that's a lot of effort. And then when you put it all together, you're like, but it's kind of a mess when it's...
Maybe.
Hey, Fringold Star Maximus. This might be awkward for Rags, but between these 2 maverick birds, which do you like the design of more? And the 2 options are the Chill Penguin or... Wait, Chill Penguin of Burn Roost or...
Why would this be
decide...
awkward for me?
I don't know.
Oh, are these more Mega Man guys? Looks like it.
Possibly.
I wouldn't. Not sure how that would make it
Well,
awkward
the
for me.
burn. Well, because of the last time we significantly disagreed.
It was pretty
I
split. It was even in the poll, it was quite close. So it was.
I'm definitely going with the penguin on this one. Yeah, I'll go with the penguin.
Thanks.
Oh, I can't see them. Do I need to Google them?
That's a way to do it.
All right. There's before someone would like put them as a chill
You're usually the one that does
penguin.
that.
Chill penguin. Okay. And chill penguin, and I guess burn rooster is coming up.
I'm a big fan of the penguin there. Like, I quite like the penguin.
We got this thing where one of them. So is the burn rooster? Is he just half of a? Does he not have a bottom half?
No, he does. It's just that's the picture I found.
Well, let me look for his bottom half. Burn rooster, Mega Man. I feel like it's important that you show me. It feels like you're making a leading question here.
Well, I mean the top is sort of the focal point.
Maybe, but if probably the focal point, but he could have a horrendous bottom half that would obviously change my opinion.
Yeah, you could have like
Let's
spider
see
legs.
here.
Have one leg.
Burn rooster.
I'm
pretty torn.
Okay.
I'm pretty torn.
Are you torn because you like them both, or?
Not really. They're both fine, I guess, as far as Mega Man stuff goes. There is an element of both that. So with the penguin, he's sort of blue, which sort of implies coldness, right? And his general shape is sort of chunky, kind of like a penguin. Penguins aren't really that sleek if they're like waddling around. He's kind of circular. And then he has this very dark blue and gold color scheme that I don't really care for. But he seems to be cohesively designed and put together. As with the rooster, I like the color scheme better. I liked how the little what are the red things on a rooster's red things on rooster face? A comb. His comb is the top part is fire, and the wattle is like the red tanks, which implies they're like fuel, for the fire. And I kind of like the color scheme better. I'm gonna go with the red rooster.
Yeah. So the thing is I just say, like, I think fundamentally I really like penguins more than I like roosters and chickens. I like chickens and roosters, but penguins are like top tier animals, I think. They're like one of my favorite animals.
I think if Chill Penguin had a better color scheme.
I actually like the color scheme. I think that the contrast is very sharp.
I think it's too sharp. I think that the gold and the dark blue is just it doesn't quite. I don't think it works. I don't think it works for me.
I think it works for me. That's all I'd have to say. That's the thing. It's always going to be coming down to preferences here.
I like Chill Roosters more. Yeah, I think it looks a bit more industrial, like a metal slug kind of critter.
Sure.
Where it's got that. It doesn't have any dark parts on it, but the gray is like if it was black and gold, I wouldn't like it. But both of them have kind of been mellowed out, so we have more of a metal gray and also a sort of metalish color yellow, like it's a caterpillar, like the equipment, the road equipment and stuff. And I really like the red is like a fuel tank on it, and the pipes there that come out of the side like it's a mask of sorts, like a gas mask or something. I think I'm gonna go with the rooster.
Okay.
What about you, Mahler?
I'm sorry, Fringy. I think the rooster clears. I even go as far as saying that the rooster has like effort in terms of how they've translated the animal over with little wings on his shoulder, the two things Rags mentioned about the flame and the tanks. And Mr. Penguin Man, like I don't know how long it would have taken me to guess that was based on a penguin.
I think the fact that it's got a penguin's face is really all that it's kind of got penguin-wise, like sort of the body shape, but I feel like you could put that body shape on all kinds of stuff.
We feel like what makes it the best design is how clearly it emulates the animal. than Space Jump?
That's partially it, but I think the colors are better. I think that the design is just better in terms of like the tanks and the pipes coming out. I like how there's like a fire thing going on with
I mean,
the
you've
comb.
laid it out a few times. I think the problem is at this point that like there's almost no. What I would say that I like about the penguin is going to be pretty straightforward. I just like penguins more than I like roosters. That's like
It's
the
got nothing to
main
do
thing
with the
that it's got
designs at
going
that
for
point.
it. Well, sure, but you were asked which one we like more. I don't know what arguments I'd be making in terms of like which design I think is better.
Because like I
I'm
think
not
that the
sure.
penguin guy is just way too generic. Like they didn't do much. The options they.
When I see the rooster, I can see almost like the kind of attacks that he would make. Like I
So
can imagine him throwing flames in a
funnily
direction.
enough, I think one of the explanations might be that Burn Rooster showed up a lot later. It seems like the penguin's a lot older, so they had to figure out a way to make it work with like a more like it. I wonder how well you can translate the rooster to like pixel art in like the Mega Man games compared to the penguin. The penguin
Maybe.
strikes me as an easier one to translate, as in like it's more readable. Um, like especially the smaller it gets. I could be, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
No, I
Um,
think there's a logic there.
well, there is a
Yeah,
logic
if
to it. I'm just not sure that it actually applies to the rooster. I think I said that too soon. I'm like, maybe that one could translate fairly well to being like a low pixel count character. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'd say that the argument in favor of the penguin actually resembling the penguin is sort of its plump shape, the circular kind of spherical shape. I don't know why that feels reminiscent of penguins, considering that penguins are more like oval shaped, but it comes
yeah.
through here. It's mainly the penguin face. I think I like the face a lot. The penguin. It's very expressive, but expressive in a way that feels like it's got a bit more range than the rooster, whereas the rooster looks like he's got kind of a permanent scowl. Which is not a problem. The penguin almost seems a little bit more happy, a little bit cheekier.
I mean, all you got to do is change both of them eyes. Eyes typically do.
Um,
And I think that too, the rooster,
because of the because of it's like a robotic critter.
and when you see roosters and chickens, the way that they walk around, they kind of have that step. They have that this lightness to them. And roosters in particular, they walk in this almost, pardon the pun, but cocky kind of way. They sort of strut, and I feel like when I look at Red Rooster or Burn Rooster, um, it just sort of has that chickeny kind of like it's got these long legs, and the legs kind of are armored in a way that sort of look like the yellow, the yellow feet of a chicken. And it just seems like it really sort of matches that chicken vibe while also giving it this industrial,
Oh yeah,
fiery kind
I
of
wouldn't argue
element.
that it's very obviously inspired by a rooster. Like that comes through very clearly.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mark, I appreciate you and thank you for your service. Give this 5 to Mark so he can buy himself a coffee, please. Very well. I'm actually going to be hanging out with him to talk about The Last of Us.
Oh, hey.
Hi, Mola. I was very disappointed by the melee combat in the game. Also was wondering if you'd recommend playing first between DS3, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring. I answered your question. Another super chat catch-up. Hopefully that one's out, but if not, I guess I'll just say it here that if you're choosing one out of the 3, I'd go with Bloodborne, but if you're going to play all 3 of them, I'd probably go Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. Especially if you're familiar with Dark Souls 1. Also, hi, Rags.
Hello.
I think... Oh, wait, I read that one. Ever make a player character in, like, Souls, Mass Effect, etc. that you'd bone?
All the time. That's my primary goal whenever I create a character, of course.
Say, like, yeah, probably.
I mean,
It
almost
depends how I
certainly,
feel
right?
at the time in terms of what I'm making. Like, I might try and make a goofy thing or a generic cool guy thing or a thing that represents kind of what I'm trying to do in the campaign, but... Speaking of new games, thoughts on Pizza Tower?
I don't know
Not heard of
anything
it.
about Tower, gotta be honest.
Neither do I. JRPGs are like 80% of my game library. Right.
More power to you.
Yeah, good for you, I guess.
Have you guys heard of Gears of Halo Theft Auto 5? It's a JRPG RTS MMO with light FPS elements, and it's rated JO, was that? Yeah,
That's
rated JO.
that's a joke. Like that's a meme from. Damn, I remember that from like a machinima.
My first guess was gonna be Arby and the Chief.
So that was my first guess too, but I don't think it was from that. I think it was a different thing. I remember it. I remember that joke of like, it's Gears of Halo Theft Auto 5. Like, I distinctly remember that as like the way that it was said. Damn, I can't remember where it's from, but I'm pretty sure it was a Halo 3 machinima.
I think it's been suggested, but that Laser Ragnarok video may be EFAP worthy. Better than Synthetic Man, but still some insane takes, including Freya is ruined, Faye is ruined because familiar actress and Acia are too normal.
Faye is ruined because familiar actress.
This is shit that like everyone already knows if they want us to cover it, that we would hate these arguments.
Yeah, because of course saying Freya is ruined. It's like, damn, she's like after Kratos, she's probably the best character in the whole thing.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, she's given so much great shit in that game.
Yeah.
A lot of time, a lot of effort, yeah.
And the idea that Faye was ruined because what, she looks familiar to an actress that you know. Like
Sorry,
that's a
man.
weird argument.
Hello there, everyone. Oh well, I guess I'll say that yeah, we're past Ragnarok at this point.
Nope. Yeah, no more cringe, please. We already got like fucking a massive dose.
Heavy dose of it, yeah. Hello there, everyone. Once Andor Season 2 comes out, if it's as good as Season 1, you should do an EFAP comparing it to Return of the Jedi if there's room. Why Return of the Jedi?
That's a strange example to compare against, isn't it?
But one thing I'm curious about is whether or not we'll maybe do an EFAP TV.
Yeah.
Because it could run the same way as The Last of Us.
Yep.
Atomic Heart Glove equals Morty's gun in High on Life.
Or the Morty gun, I guess you mean, yeah.
They got a thumbs down as well. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I found it annoying. A lot of people found it annoying, and from what I gather, a lot of people find the gun in High on Life annoying. Certainly, if you're playing it now, you'll be like that extra dimension.
Yeah, it's kind of like totally tainted, isn't it?
Confession: I played with Russian audio and thought Crispy Critters was pretty endearing.
You might have that opinion. I think it's the opposite of endearing. Enraging. No, it's just really annoying and it's weird.
Annoying and weird. Yeah. English P3 VA is insufferable. You thought Crispy Critters was endearing when you were reading the subtitles with the Russian audio?
I get it.
Oh wait, you said on the stream last week we used to think it was a good idea to run OS on SSD, but we know better now. Can you explain? I didn't understand. I said that? Why?
Why would you have said that?
I don't know why I would have said that. Maybe I misspoke. What I mean probably was the obvious other thing, which is that we used to run OS on HDD, and then most people now run them on it. Way better for startup. Fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
would have been what I meant. If I said the other thing, then yeah, I misspoke. I don't know what Theo said, but he is wrong. I take the alternative route on that one. Whatever Theo says, he's probably right. Nancy's wrong. And of the week, Wonder of You, an ability in which anyone wanting to go after the user of this ability will meet a calamity, no matter what or where.
Meet a calamity? Like just like a bad thing will happen to them?
Yes, so in calamities,
that's not good.
Well, and what when it says go after, what does that mean? Like try to contact me or trying to kill me? I'm not sure about that one. Like I might just decline because I don't want the whole world to fall apart. This calamity, would it only be for them, or would it be an event that gets them and possibly other people too? Wings quote of the day: sigh. I just wish I had a better stream.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I think a lot of us feel that way.
About his
Bonus
stream.
quote.
There's no bonus quote.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Adar's
That's okay.
plan was acquiring the broken sword to cause a volcanic eruption that completely blocks out all sunlight in the Southlands for his orc brethren. One could say his plan was essentially to execute the suns.
Certainly to cover it up.
I have to remember that
It's
show
very
until we have to
convoluted
watch.
and strange
We have to
plot.
watch season.
Yeah, it's definitely the more you delve into that plot, the worse it gets. Don't forget how bad that plot is, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Speaking of QTEs, the Resident Evil 4 remake reportedly will not feature the QTEs from the original, limiting it to things like breaking free from enemies and overhauling the Krauser knife fight. Any thoughts? Good.
Probably for the best, yeah. There's a few QTs in that game that are A-okay, but most of them are just not.
A lot of them are the tapping ones.
I'd rather
I'm
go
liking.
without.
What QTs do you like from Resident?
I like that. I think the boulder one is appropriate. I think that is an appropriate
Don't
QTE.
like those. Don't like button mashing in general.
I'm okay with the boulder button mashing. The part I don't like is actually the end where you have to jump out and it'll
You
either
have to
give
dodge,
you B
yeah.
and A or L and R, which I find annoying.
Well, yeah, you got to mix it up, otherwise it'd be
Gotta
too
pay attention. Gotta
easy.
you gotta have your gamer brain turned on.
It's gonna be so cool to stream it right after the OG one just to see how they've changed all the different things. Because I don't know, the Dead Space remake, it feels like was much more 1-to-1. But the RE4 remake, it's like, how will they do this? Like Del Lago, for example, I imagine that's gonna be completely different, or maybe not. I don't know, but it'll be curious to
I
see.
hope so. That's my least favorite boss fight in Resident Evil 4.
I'm fine with him. I think it works. It's not like
It works. I think it's a bit clunky, and I'd rather have it be the mechanics of the rest of the game instead of its own sort of thing. Maybe like if you were on a boat being pulled by Del Lago and you used your guns and stuff to like maybe it
yeah.
was flinging shit at you, or you had to shoot obstacles, or you had to like maybe if you had the option to use the harpoon or your guns and the harpoon was used for certain things and your guns were used for damage, or
Like you could
if
harpoon
it really was just
to pieces of land to prevent him from dragging you on.
maybe or you had to choose between steering the boat to avoid the obstacles and shooting, just like in the game where you have to choose between shooting and moving.
Right.
Wait, is that in the remake? You have to choose, or can you do both?
Oh, that's the thing. I'm saying I'm excited to see what they do with Del Lago because I don't actually know. I might be able to find out, but I'm
I mean,
obviously at
in
the point.
general.
Oh, I mean, I think you can only aim and shoot or move if you fight in Del Lago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, like no, like in general in the game, can you do both, or do you have to choose between moving and shooting?
In the OG or new ones,
In the new one.
the new one. A great question now because I've played so much of that fucking demo. Now I'm thinking about it. It's like, have I ever shot and moved at the same time? I don't think so. I think if I need to go test that. Like, what happens if I start spamming? So, like, left trigger without aiming is your knife, and I think if you're running, you will just knife. So I guess that would count, right? As being able to move and attack, kind of. Because in the game, obviously, you have to stop and then get the knife out and then attack. Well, in the game, it's like
Yeah,
straight away.
like can you? Yeah, if you can ready your weapon, like if you can aim and move, then I would. It would be
Well,
weird if you could aim and move the knife and
one
but
of the
not
things,
do
of
it with the
course, is you can
guns. But,
reload while moving,
Okay.
which is not a surprise at all. That's in the remake. Of course, and I've been saying this since the you're gonna add in those things that make it much easier. Then you boost the game's difficulty, and judging from Mad Chainsaw mode, it's gonna be way harder than the original. But they did say that's an exclusive demo difficulty, so I don't know what exactly is gonna.
Maybe it'll be a difficulty that's only in the mercenaries mode, which they better fucking have.
I'm pretty sure
They've
put
confirmed Mercenaries mode.
in, right?
Obviously we don't know how good it'll
Good.
be.
Yeah, it's very possible that that is a mode just for mercenaries. And maybe the campaign doesn't have that same mode, or maybe they're just maybe yeah, it's just maybe the campaign difficulty modes are just they're just weighted differently.
It was cool as well because Dr. Salvador scared the fuck out of me in the remake demo Mad Chainsaw. Like, you know, screaming at you is really fast. They like triple the speed of all of his animations. So you just, when you have familiarity with how everything works, it puts you back into the position of actually having to play really well, as opposed to just knowing how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
What I hope for the whole game, and we will find out. You know what? People listening to this right now knowing what we think of the game. Updated thoughts.
And then I just Googled it real quick, and this is Dr. Salvador on the upcoming Resident Evil Netflix series. I look at it and I was like, oh,
Oh
okay,
no! Wait, is
that
that
looks like
from?
What do you
shit.
mean upcoming? Isn't that it got cancelled, right?
That's the
Like
one
it's
from.
one and done.
Maybe it's just I don't know when this is this is a tweet from July 7th, 2022.
Oh
Yeah,
right, yeah. So
so
yeah,
that show's been cancelled.
Yeah, it just looks like shit. It looks so bad. Look how big the eye holes are right
yeah.
now.
They look
Like
goofy, don't they?
you couldn't have just like gotten the eye
Dude, it
holes
makes me
right.
think that they originally cut the holes too far away, and then they had to cut more to get it down to his eyes.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "Oh shit! Like we didn't
Instead
do
of
this
just
right."
like yeah, instead of just feeling where the eyes are and then putting little dots and then cutting around those dots.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I just don't know how you fuck that up for your big like series.
They found a way.
Brawls and everything. I just why do you look so bad?
Crispy critters, this game sucks. Golden Sun had the option to refuse to save the world, but that was as a joke at the beginning of the game. You're told the world is doomed. The discussion restarts, and you're asked again. Yes. I wonder if that's pointless to put in. No, it's kind of a funny, a waste of time. Coding it. And stuff.
I'd have to. I mean, the way that they phrase it, it could be like you just have two options, and the first one is if you say no, I don't want to save the world, and then everyone's like, no, but we have to, and then you go along with it so the game can happen.
Oh, they're saying it like
Um,
resets the conversation and asks you again. It's just
Resets the conversation. I wonder if that means like it just goes back to the last dialogue option, or if it like
right, yeah.
completely undoes the scene.
I know.
Golden Sun is one of those games because I played Golden Sun and Golden Sun the Lost Age, and I never beat the first Golden Sun, but I played and beat the second. And Golden Sun, do you guys have games that you could smell? Kind of like sometimes when you think about memories, a certain aroma is associated with it. For me,
Yeah.
when I first got Golden Sun from my Game Boy Advance, I was kind of sick and I had like a stopped up nose or something. And so I just had like the smell of rubber for whatever reason. Things just sort of smelled rubbery. And so almost like a tire. And so Golden Sun I associate with sort of the smell of rubber. Because the first time I played it, I had that smell. But yeah, I have very fond memories of Golden Sun 1 and 2.
Rags.
Yo!
Disagree with the smoker/cave leech. Both the smoker and the cave leech have audio that plays when they spot and attack you. I've also outrun a cave leech that was not too hard to deal with, especially with a team/Bosco.
I don't know what the team would have to do with you outrunning it. It's possible to, depending on like its angle and the thing coming down to grab you. It is possible, but if anything, I've seen it happen to other people accidentally, them dodging it more than intentionally. It's just yeah, I'm standing by what I'm saying about the cave leech. I think it's poorly designed. I think they should remove it from the game.
I will. I can't speak to the cave leech. I will back your point on the smoker, assuming it is your point that any smoker worth his fucking smoke will be able to get someone without them being able to stop him on versus mode.
Yeah, and on if we're talking about the AI stuff, then yeah, generally you can hear them, but a lot of the times you only hear them like right as they're about to make the attack, and so you don't have any time to really react to it.
Well, and you can
just because the queue isn't quite there.
Two extra things about the smoker. One, he can, if you again a talented, like I played the fuck out of Left 4 Dead. I loved being the bad guys. For a talented smoker, you can make it so that when you start the pull, you're behind something. Do you know what I'm talking about? You hit left mouse stick and you move the smoker behind something so that the tongue will hit them and you'll be out of range of shooting, like behind an object.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Then you can also, if you grab someone as they're next to a ledge, the second they're pulled off, they're done. They can't do anything. So and you
There
could be
is
like, well, then never go through an edge. It's like, that's cool.
there is a sort of it's not very tight in terms of like the smoker pounce in the animation, sorry, the hunter pounce in animation.
I could lag.
Even the smoker sort of tongue and how it like hits and how it tracks. It's not really tight mechanically. It's a little flumpy. Um, but
But I will
yeah,
say,
I just
part of it is the fact that the game is built to be you should never go alone. Supposed to encourage everybody to, because like the best teams in Left 4 Dead will always just move through as one unit.
yeah, there is the element of like I just in general I don't like enemies that just incapacitate you and there's nothing you can do and you have to rely on other people. The amount of counterplay you get will it puts it that's what puts it on the spectrum, which is why like Vermintide 2, a lot of the enemies, if you get good, the like hook rats that will reach forward and grab you, their animations are very they're very it's very tight in terms of the way the animations work and being grabbed and your ability to dodge left and right. Same thing with uh, the uh, the pounce rats. Their name escapes me, which is weird for a game I have over 1,000 hours in. The way that their animations line up, they're basically the hunters, and it's easier for you to dodge them without getting hit. Just kind of the way that they're designed, because that game is clearly taking a lot of inspiration from Left 4 Dead. But even then, they can they clip through enemies, and sometimes like when you increase the difficulty, it just spams the specials at you, and it's just not fun. It's not fun to get through a game and just be really really good at fighting rats and not taking damage and blocking well and having good positioning, and then one thing happens and you're just dead. It's not fun. It's just flat out not fun. And I wish there were better ways that I want that trend to just kind of die. I'm just sick of it. I'm done with it.
Like, I think the obvious thing that a lot of people would want to say back to you then is like, so you just don't like Left 4 Dead then? Like, because of
Oh no, I do
nostalgia?
like Left 4 Dead. There's things that I would change about it though.
Let's take, for
Um,
example, the Hunter. What would you change about him?
I think that the animations need to be tightened up a whole lot in terms of his ability to like when he rears back and jumps. And I think that if you're not like the host, hitting him out of the air is very very inconsistent.
True.
Just the way that the movements of they do, it doesn't feel like they fly through the air quite right. It feels like it skips frames, or the game can't quite keep up with it. Um, I don't think that these enemies should be able to clip through zombies or other enemies. If you are fighting with a big horde of zombies in front of you, I don't like the idea that an enemy can be in the back and can pounce through that group where you literally can't see it and clip through all the zombies in order to pounce on you.
The thing is, though,
They need to have a
ultimately you not changing the fact that if he does successfully land on you, he incapacitates you and you can't do anything.
yeah. I generally just don't like those. If there was some way to free myself, I don't care if I have to mash a button, if I have to do something, or if there's something I can do to maybe mitigate damage or to push it off of me. I just the idea that I have to rely on other people to do that, and there's just nothing I can do because one thing happened. I really don't like it.
But
A lot of the times it just feels.
they've very deliberately designed it that way. That's not like any kind of shortcut or error. That's they want it that way so that teams have to.
I mean, they
save you.
clearly designed it that way, yeah. And because Left 4 Dead is such a huge ranged component to it, that can help a lot because you can be saved from a lot more places. Whereas in like Vermintide, for instance, even though I think Vermintide 2 is just a better game, it is annoying that in a mostly melee game, you can be separated by someone by a much shorter distance, but it can take longer for them to be able to get to you because it's more of a melee focused game. I just prefer enemies that damage you, honestly. Whether it's like the spitters, right? There's sort of an equivalent in Vermintide. You have the Rattling Gunner, who he shows up, he makes a particular noise, he winds up the Gatling gun, and he shoots, and he tracks a player and shoots at them. It will kill anything along the way or damage anything along the way, and you'll just take damage from it. It won't like kill you, it won't hit you once, and you're just down and incapacitated. So you're encouraged to obviously get out of its way as fast as possible. and the damage doesn't happen all at once. It happens over time for however many times he hits you. Equipping a shield can, if you choose to have a shield, you could use that to defend yourself against it. But I just prefer those kinds of enemies that damage you, other than as opposed to of enemies that just incapacitate you.
This only goes beyond up to a preference, then, right? Because like if someone said, for example, I don't like. Actually, this is a real thing. I don't like how long it takes to swallow the Estus in Dark Souls because it takes too long to heal. When the response is like that's on purpose, you have to find a space where you incapacitate yourself for about 3 to 5 seconds to take that heal. Where like you dodge an attack then heal. It has to be very deliberate, but as long as they're like, yeah, I don't enjoy that. I think that's shit. It should be that I can just heal. It shouldn't be that it costs me like the ability to move.
A lot of it is subjective, but I think in the sense of like clipping through enemies and getting you, I think that you can make a decently objective argument as to why.
Yeah,
that's
I'm with
just
you on
not
all
a
those
good,
arguments
not good
except
game
the one
design.
that I think it should be that you can get out yourself.
I think you should generally. I would kind of prefer it, especially if you're the last one up. If getting pounced was still something that you definitely don't want to happen, like if it was a guaranteed, if you get pounced, you're just even if you use the save yourself mechanic, you will lose X% of health or 20, 30, 40 health, whatever, but you can get it off of you. So it's still something that you do not want to hit you, and it's bad, but it's not like you're just done. That I'd probably like more.
But you never argue this is a strict better or worse for your own preference.
I'd have to think about it. I don't think I would, but maybe if I thought about it more, I might, but I don't know. I don't think so. I'd have to think about it. I think it's how it plays with the other mechanics of the game and how they function. How the sound cues, things of that nature. So like if enemies were completely silent, there were no audio cues, and it was very, very quick, you had no idea when it had entered the field, and it could like phase through enemies and just grab you and incapacitate you with no warning. Like I'd say that would be like objectively bad. And then you have that spectrum of how much warning do you have, how predictable are its moves and its behavior, and what can you actually do in order to like avoid its attacks or protect yourself against it. I'd rather they just sort of apply debuffs than just like
Springy?
incapacitate you.
I haven't played much Left 4 Dead.
You don't need to have.
I can't keep track of this combo. Sorry.
Okay, I can just simplify for you. Enemies that can incapacitate you, good or bad.
I feel like that is just good old. It depends.
Yeah, okay, that's where I'm at, and I think Left 4 Dead does it pretty well. Though I agree on those criticisms about like it. I don't think they should be able to move a whole chord. They use that as like a shield. And like lag in Left 4 Dead was a huge problem. But I do think of like a Left 4 Dead as a sign up of the rules that if you go off on your own, there's a really good chance no one will be able to save you. It's up to you if you want to do that, but recommend it sort of thing. But it can get you, depending on the strategy of your team, you can actually get like a quick, easy win, or at least push forward the whole campaign, and you can use the enemy team when you do that. There's a risk reward sort of thing to it, and I kind of like the encouragement of teamwork in Left 4 Dead to the point of, a smoker is grabbing me, and I shout in the Discord for like you guys to help me out, and that's what actually gives it away instead of necessarily like notifications in game, because of I think it has like a good way of encouraging that kind of team attitude. But this.
Yeah, I think if I was making a game in that style, I would make the enemies to where they apply big restrictions on what you're able to do. So it's like a long distance enemy that maybe it's got a grappling hook or a hook of some kind, or maybe it throws a rope around you and gets you. It hits your legs and it yanks you back, and so it puts you into like a prone state. And you have a limited amount of stuff you could do while prone, and it pulls you away. But it's not just like you can't do anything. It doesn't even matter if you're holding the controller at that point. Or an enemy that maybe like the boomer, I think, is a good example where it slows your movement a little bit, as far as I know, and it puts all that stuff on your screen, but you're not like locked out of doing anything. It's just your ability to do it has been impeded for a while.
The boomer, the
Off of
spitter, and the tank are all the reason why they don't incapacitate you, like in the same way a charger and a hunter do, is because their moves affect like all 4 people. Like that's obviously how they're balancing these aspects. Boomer can hit all 4 of you, so shouldn't be allowed to like grab anyone down as well. Same for the spitter. Spitter was designed specifically because so many teams were sitting in corners and they could make it through the whole campaign no matter what enemies they're dealing with. Yeah, Left 4 Dead needed lots of tweaks. Never made a third one, huh?
No.
A game that makes me wonder why it's an open world. That's the thing to do with games. One of the trends, anyway. Didn't feel like it belonged in Atomic Heart, really. The big world filled with all kinds of crazy shit, but a lot of it didn't seem to really cohesive. Like you talked about it, but the notoriety system. Went to Universal Studios for Nintendo World, and I swear, every time I saw a Simpsons set piece, I imagined Fringy quoting where it came from and laughing. Got a bought tag in Fringo's honor for high ranks.
Hello.
There was Simpson
Also
stuff at,
named Bort.
or was it because they went to Universal? Because you figure that's not Universal, that's Fox, which is now Disney. Or maybe it was some other thing. Oh, well, maybe the reference was to when they went to, damn. Maybe it was a reference for when they went to Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Maybe. Anyone a fan of the new Doom games? Play Eternal.
Yeah, I really liked 2016 a bunch. Eternal was alright,
Mhm.
I guess.
I hate long intros that make me walk but not play. Gotta be careful with stuff like that when you make a game that way. You really press people if you want to try that out.
Yep.
We did time it. Wasn't it like 7 minutes in
Yeah.
Bioshock before you get to gameplay?
It was, yeah, almost
Which
on the dot. Yeah, 7
almost
minutes.
feels kind of like an algorithmically perfect amount of time before you're pushing it. Like that's probably like, especially with the wonder of Rapture. You know? Atomic Shot is like a weird grape.
Oh my goodness.
I know communism advocates a moneyless society, but do you think the world of Atomic Heart would still allow Kwong points? Doesn't matter. Kwong points exist whether or not they're allowed to push their way into
Yeah,
society.
maybe.
I mean, it's just too valuable. A lot of humans really appreciate Kwong points.
Yeah, who would give them up?
Commies prefer robots because they can't starve. Ha! Hello, gentlemen. What would you say is the difference between good drama and melodrama? Melodrama is just when everything's cranked up for no good reason. It feels like extreme and silly, almost.
Just
At least that's how I've
absurd.
noticed it.
Yeah.
Like, why is everybody so angry
Melodrama
and silly?
it says here, melodrama, a sensational dramatic piece with exaggerated characters and exciting events intended to appeal to the emotions. Yeah, if you can't do that with like actual drama and you need to exaggerate things in order to do that, I don't know. I feel like you're starting to really skirt the line of what I'm willing to believe people would actually do and behave like. And once we start to get into that realm where I don't believe those things, then it makes the drama seem less immersive and relatable. And if you get to that drama through means that are just like nonsensical, then I'm just not going to be invested in what happens because the world will just seem less, believable in and of itself.
In terms of gender-neutral bathrooms on a ship, when I used to work on a submarine, whenever we had female officers, the male and female officers shared them with 0 issues. Simply not enough room to have both.
How about that?
Crazy. Pretty woke.
Pretty
should've-
woke. Those submarines. We've been saying this for a long time. Those submarines, those nuclear submarines, are pretty woke.
Yeah,
Pretty
man.
woke. Don't let the shape of them fool you.
They should have just let you do a Scorn ending with the lewd fridge. It would have been better. Better FU than what we got. A better fuck
I
you,
mean,
maybe?
both of the endings kind of sucked.
Yeah, I don't want to play Scorn ever again in my whole.
Yeah, and I'm not going to.
For that.
We did an EFAP for Scorn.
I think that was a matter of like we should probably get on record how we feel about Scorn because I'm not going to be able to remember this. Though I kind of do.
I remember it, but that's mostly because there's not much to forget.
Yeah. QTE end fights are lame. Chad Halo 3 ending with a shootout and escape run versus Virgin Halo 4 ending with a pre-scripted QTE cutscene where you press X to watch the villain fall into a pit.
Ugh, that
Yeah.
sounds like it. Shit.
Well, yeah,
Lame.
because Halo 3, you play it, which is
Yeah, and
nice.
boy, who was it the first time everyone got to that Halo 3 ending and the ring was breaking apart and
Yep.
you were on that warthog with Arbiter and it was all just coming away and the ground was dropping out and you had to jump onto that ship at the end. Oh man, and the music. Jeez,
Well,
talk
yeah, because
about
the
a
music was
fucking way to end
synced
a trilogy.
with all of the action.
Oh, that's how you end a trilogy.
Oh yeah.
I am the storm that is approaching.
Oh, one of the things that, if I can comment on it, one of the things that was really cool about that Halo 3 ending was that you're on basically snow levels at the end, and then as the ring is falling apart and it's all breaking up and everything, all the snow's gone away, the land goes away, and you're on like the skeleton of the installation. So it shows like this very big progress. It's kind of like Treasure Planet. You know when the planet starts
Yeah,
exploding and
yeah.
breaking apart, where it's
That's
like
a good
you get this
example,
real
actually.
big sense of things used to be this way and it's all breaking apart and the world's like literally coming apart and we have to escape it. And it's a great way to show that difference where it used to be snowy and relatively calm and everything, and now it's all like fire and things are blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good games.
Nano critters, son. They harden in response to crisp.
Nano critters.
Nano critters.
Oral Noughts Larry, a Jedi party story, is the best thing to come out of Kenobi show. Please pull up Star Wars Larry Episode 3 and watch from 12 to 12:34. No OG audio from the show, so should be good for copyright fleet. I think we made a thing of like, we're not going to check out timestamps. If we opened that up, it could start getting ridiculous. Sure, wonderful and excellent, whatever the parody is, especially if it's Kenobi, because that shit is, well, it's a goldmine of embarrassment. Howdy, EFAP crew. I recently completed Metro 2033 and simply wanted to ask your thoughts or praises on the game if you're...
Played Last Light and I remember liking it. I don't remember 2033 much at all though, and I have not played Exodus yet.
I played a little bit of 2033, not much. I played more of Last Light, but I still haven't completed it. So yeah, I can't really comment. I remember enjoying Last Light though.
I have
Yeah,
played
I liked it.
none of them. Are there any places available in Tuscany?
Probably. I would imagine there are. Yeah.
Versus
So,
matchup, MCU Iron Man versus Genos from OPM. Genos.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I mean, if you're saying like in a fight, I feel like Genos is gonna
But
win.
you guys
Power
discuss that. I
level.
need to use the loo.
Yeah,
Power level is
Genos is
absolutely
pretty insane.
And if you're going to be like, well, what about, Iron Man in his final stage in Endgame? It's like, yeah, he still gets beaten
Nah,
pretty
even
easily
then,
by...
yeah. You see Genos, like, gee.
Genos is like top form. He like fires a laser that's enormous, it encompasses like everything and just annihilates everything in it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Iron Man's beaten that.
no way. I don't think there's no chance.
But important that Iron Man would have tried.
Yeah, he would have tried, but
Make
he wouldn't have
some new
succeeded.
suit to try and deal with. I remember it being pointed out that Iron Man gets knocked out because he's used as a shield when Thor throws his hammer.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in the Endgame video.
Avengers. Like his
Yeah.
Mark 7 suit is better
Mark
than his...
7, I think? Yeah. It's absurd. Yeah, it was.
I second that. Hades is very, very good. What I
hear.
Why is there background music? I hate. It was the fridge music. Play Hades, you absolute cabbage. Get around to it one day. Everyone recommends it. And it's getting a sequel, right? Is it gonna be woke? There's a girl in it, so
Like,
that
what
must
is that?
be yeah.
Just by default.
Well, yeah, that's how it works these days, from what I've heard. So I'm just
Uh,
that's our thing. It's just been like culture war lenses, not a favorite of mine.
nope, I'm bored of that.
And that ends that. That's it. That's all. All for the Atomic Heart.
Oh, there you
So
go. Crispy critters, or yeah.
crispy critters in. Thank you all so much for giving a listen. Time, retention. Sorry, these bits and bobs come out a little later than preferable, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to release them all. They will all come out eventually. Oh, well, if Rags were here, he would be saying goodbye too, but that's fine out. Thank you all for listening. Yep.
Boy, 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 boy.